this horror themed map I've been making, it actually predates me even looking at any of the Smile 2 stuff. I can't remember what I was looking at. I think I was just thinking about fear, actually. There's a lot of scenes in fear. I mean, well, in Doom 3 as well, there's scenes with a skeleton or whatever, like, especially, fear. I love that. It's like the skeleton poops out or whatever, and you're like, oh my god. So I was sort of emulating that stuff to an extent. And also the overall vibe of some of the kind of dream sequences or whatever you want to call them in fear. I was kind of going for that. So the idea of, putting the scary face in, like, the area that, you look, you don't, it's not there at first, but then you look back or whatever. I had already done that, but then I was like, let me use the face of the Smile 2 guy. But, that level has been a real pain in the ass. If I posted a video of it, you would probably scoff at the idea that that's all I have after, probably 2 months. I mean, first of all, I haven't worked on it every day. It's actually been a few days here or there where I've just thought about it. But the majority of that time that I spent trying to make this piece of shit was really just dealing with Hammer crashing constantly. Like, I have no clue why Hammer is crashing so relentlessly. But this time when I opened up Hammer to put it in perspective, literally I chose one single texture, and the second fucking texture I tried to pick, the fucking thing crashed. I didn't even get to choose. Like, it'd be different if it happened 5 textures, 10 textures. The problem is it's so fucking random like that. Sometimes I'll go 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, right? But the majority of the time is me just wrestling with it crashing relentlessly like it does. And I save relentlessly as well. But, and also it creates an auto save if you crash. So that's not really the point. It's just all the time wasted on that. But it's really just sort of this general proof of concept. But what was weird about it, and this happened again while I was doing I was adding in the sound effects from Doom 3. I might try some fear ones, but modding fear was always a pain in the ass. But I got the Doom 3 sounds in there, and I got a few custom textures. But the problem I had with a lot of my compiles is that the triggers, the scripted sequences a lot of times just won't work, right? So the overall thing right here now that I've got set up, this is sort of the whole plot, if you want to call it that. Like, if I released it, it would be like a mini mod or something. And if I got the scripting overall laid out how I wanted at that point, I would probably just detail the hell out of it. And it's like, all right, good enough. But the overall plot, if you want to call that, is you start in this hallway, which has a hole in the floorboards, and there's a crawl space under it with a bunch of corpses. Okay, well, there's a wall right in front of you that the plaster is peeling off, and there's a sign that says "Do not enter," which is your indication to literally just the main support joist under the floor. If you walk across that, you'll actually go through the wall. I'm working on a way to do it in a little bit more of an interesting visual kind of way, other than just like a funk brush that's set to not solid, but whatever. And then the next room, you see this bathroom with a door that's got the hole in it, like where like a piece of glass would be. But if you look through it, you can see this toilet that's got a fucking skeleton in it. And if it's set up to trigger to where if you look at it, it makes this like demonic laugh, which I just replaced with one of the Betruger laughs. And then after that happens, you go to the room where, it's like another sort of crawl space. When you turn around, there's a skeleton at the top of the stairs that disappears. And if you go back up and turn around, that's when you see the face peeking through the hole in the cinder block that I just replaced with the Smile 2 demon's face. And it, there's a laugh sound, it kind of moves out of view. Well, then if you go through the opposite hallway, you have a skeleton kind of fly at you and make a screaming noise, which again I just replaced with the Betruger one. Then you get teleported to this room that's, it's like the interior of a cabin with the corpses and the hatchet or whatever, and it plays the G-Man's, the radio one or whatever it is, the spooky music from Half-Life 2 that I mentioned in several videos, which is what kind of started me doing this in a lot of ways. And then, so after you see that and the music plays, you get teleported to essentially this sort of like an abyss kind of thing. And all it is just this road leading to the skeleton you've been seeing numerous times. And it says like, help me. And when you get closer, you take damage. And then you hear, a demonic laugh, which, I just now replaced with one from Fear, or Doom 3 rather. And if you get any closer, well, then you just take fatal damage. And, I replaced that with one of the Betruger laughs. Oh yeah, and then in the like cabin bit, I just placed a part with a sound I also took from Doom 3. It's the one from the elevator on Alpha Labs 2A or whatever the fuck it is, where you'll hear it say over here, and if you look around, the elevator doors open up, and if you walk up to them and then spawns behind you, I took that sound into Hammer, and then I made the cabin part so you can see the eyes through the the boards or whatever. If you walk towards them, you'll hear that saying over here behind you. When you turn around, you'll see this like ghost woman that disappears, once you notice her or whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to make something that's kind of interesting. The whole skeleton thing is at the ending. It's one of those things like it's not meant to be sort of like a boss fight or what. Like you are required to lose pretty much. Um, but I was just trying to do something kind of artistic and also kind of spooky. I don't know. For me, I guess I'm gay and retarded, but I feel the Halloween vibes in summer. I don't know why motherfuckers wait till fucking, November. I mean, by that point, all the leaves have fallen and you can see through the woods, right? It's like you could see what was there, or at least hopefully. But, I'm trying to think of more interesting things to do, but I mean, I don't feel like making custom animations or models or this or that. I'm just working with what I got. So it's essentially 15 minutes of real work on sort of a proof of concept of some stuff that will never get fully realized, just like the thousands of other maps I've made over the last 22 years I've been using Hammer. But yeah, I just always thought stuff like that was really cool. And one of the things, so as I started to mention, but I decided to describe it, one of the things that happened this time that's also happened before is, if it won't crash long enough for me to get anything done and then I do a compile, a lot of times when I load the map, the triggers, they're just not working anymore, right? Like one of my last compiles, that stair, the set of stairs you go into the crawl space and you look back, the skeleton's there. As soon as you see it, he disappears. Well, this time when I played it, like he was just stuck there. He appears and he just stays there. And then the final skeleton, I don't know, I'm playing with the idea whether it's multiple, skeletons or if it's the same one following you around, or I don't know. I don't know yet, but um the final one, as I mentioned, you take damage twice, and you take enough damage to where if that second time it kills you. Um well, one of the last times I compiled the map, I walked to the trigger to take damage the first time, but don't take damage. I just hear you take damage and then it does the evil laugh or whatever. Even though so basically it's like telling you to help them, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just, it's not hard to see. Oh, it's like tricking you or whatever. But the point of it is that for whatever reason I didn't actually take damage. Like, and that's like, dude, I checked the triggers afterwards. They were exactly what they were supposed to be, and then when I compiled it again, all of a sudden it worked again. So it's like, oh no, I just, like I mentioned with the gore noise stuff, right? Oh, this is, and wouldn't that be fun? Is, oh, this is how the demon is like haunting me to like break my will. It's it's just making my maps not compile correctly, right? Who knows what caused it? But Source Engine is just weird like that, where it'll just maps will just sort of break for no reason, even though you really fundamentally didn't change anything. Sometimes they break so bad that the only fucking thing that works is just creating a new map, right? And I'm talking new map, like create a new level, save it to a new file, and copy the whole level from the other VMF into it, and magically it works again. It's a, it's just, Valve being fucktards that don't know how to do shit. And it's probably also why Hammer crashes so much. But it's just funny to think. Like, almost thought like that would actually be a super interesting concept, right? Like, I'm thinking sort of like Cube or some other type of movies. Like, what if you were making like the game level, but unwittingly it's like the architecture of some type of fucking torture chamber or something, right? It's like, the characters in the game are actually real. Like, for you it's a simulation, but for them it's just their real life or whatever. I don't know. Somebody else can take that and run with it, I guess, but I don't know. I've just been having fun doing that. And yeah, I've been on a real, kind of horror movie type of trip. And yeah, I don't know. These movies sometimes it's just sort of laughable that, what these humans will consider suffering or this or that. And it's like, this is like regular for me. And the thing with the plot of the movie that wouldn't work in reality is pretty much why, if it did happen, it would only target these mentally weak primate humans, is because someone who are mentally resilient, like if you try to fuck with them to where they can't they question what's real and all this, like you're actually just going to make them better at being able to tell what's real. It's either that or they're just going to assume everything's fake and then it's not going to matter anymore, right? So I've been in situations in my life where part of it was pretty much just pretending it wasn't real, right? So that can be a productive coping mechanism, and humans use it maliciously. But like this demon is really at best just, behaviorally a metaphor for humans. They'll always want to fuck with you, make you question reality, act like you're crazy. And it's like the visual metaphor of her freaking out and everybody else is just like, oh, what's going on, is like pretty much how humans are, where it's like, but the difference is like it's happening for real, but they're just pretending it's not. But yeah, the influence stuff, they'll just try to make you question yourself on everything. And I went through hell in my life, and that actually is why I am the way that I am now, right? The reason I don't believe in a lot of these fucking bullshit ideas is because I researched so heavily into it, right? Perfect example, and this actually goes well with me playing Fear and Doom 3 and all that right now, is I have this audio mixer that takes USB power, but the way I have it plugged in is through the USB cord that's in my computer. Um, and if it's through a wall wart, it works fine. But if I plug it in this way, you constantly hear these intermittent sort of like chirping or squeaking sort of noises that sometimes they sound like banging noises or even like voices, right? Well, like imagine somebody who didn't understand how electronics work and they freaked out that there's like, voices, like they're hearing voices or like whatever. But then for me, it's like, oh, it's just the interference from this cable. It's not shielded well, right? Or whatever I have it plugged into is not shielded. Or like I used to have one of these pairs of wireless headphones that was actually RF, right? It's like you ever go to one of those drive-in movies where it was two movies and you just tuned the radio to which one you went to hear the sound of. It was like that, but like wireless headphones version. And there's times where I would literally hear voices. It's like somebody talking, and instantly I knew this is probably interference. And sure enough, it had moved just out of position on the dial enough to where it was basically getting interference from a talk show, like radio talk show or whatever. Like imagine if somebody wasn't so familiar with how a lot of this stuff works. Like you could really easily terrorize somebody off of like stupid bullshit like that. But that's kind of the point I'm making. Someone who's discerning, who's capable of understanding stuff like that, you're really not going to be able to fuck with them, or, it's going to be the easiest for them to mental their way out of it.